Everything full of corpses and whatever this messy, weird red bits are. Lord Captain, we've received an astropathic message from Dagonis. Achilles Calendar reports a Xenos raid against the merchant. A new messenger from Master Calendar, Lord Captain. Achilles' aides have reported that the Xenos leader will be heading an attack on the paradise world Grantus. I think we never heard Grantus as a world before. It's not one of our colonies.
I always have a backup plan.
We've identified the breed of Xenos that pose a threat, the Aeldari, humanity's ancient, insidious foes. Is it just like a vision cause of this weird tadpole-y thing we got inserted? Is it just messing with our memories and our brain? I'm glad to hear it was a good night and fun giving you a hangover. How is it that you are the only soul who managed to escape the trap on Rickard Norris? How much truth is there to the rumors that the heretic Conrad Volkvi is spreading about you? And why are there corpses everywhere? And the seeping blood? I'm going to ignore any minor liberties that you, esteemed rogue trader, may have afforded yourself. But I mean, so far, the things they are telling us aren't too bad. It's just really messed up. But it's not like horrible, right? Hi Chorl, nice to see you. How are you?
To be made.
Do my eyes deceive me? Explain yourself, Alan Tuck. Yeah, that was very fast. Why is there a shard of Kruderak in your chamber? See? I already expected it would be part of her craft world. I guess that's why she betrayed us and gave us to the Drukhari. But what still doesn't add up is, like, even if she betrayed us and handed us over to the Drukhari, why was she surprised? And why was she also captured? I don't know.
Always keep my options open.
Something not adding up here.
You are accused of consorting with Xenos, betraying the Imperium, and neglecting the interests of humankind.
I mean... Now look at the corpse piles. Every exposed area of Argenta skin is mottled with an intricate pattern of scarlet blisters, crimson indentations, and charred tissue. And welcome to the murder sex dungeon of the most fucked up race in the universe. I guess that's a good summary for probably this whole stream. Tutorial. A passing ray of light reflects off that countless tiny blades that look like sprouted from inside of Idira. We're just seeing all of their bodies horribly mutilated. All of the cold trader's bones were broken, the augmented arm was ripped from its socket, and the bones of every finger on the remaining hand are twisted and sticking out at strange angles. Yeah. I don't even want to imagine how this smells with all the decaying corpses around. Pasqal's augmetics was separated, but not extracted from his body. The places where they connect to the organic tissue teem with predatory millipedes feasting on the coagulating blood and accumulated pus. Abelard Wazarian's limbs were amputated and then sewn back onto his body with remarkable skill and precision using human tendons.
Keep your wits about you.
They really do like torture, don't they? But it's not all the bodies. We didn't see Heinrix, we didn't see Cassia. We didn't see Yrliet as well. Ah, here's Cassia. Pulsating strands stretch from under Cassia's headpiece, one wrapping around her neck, while the others drain her lifeblood through her weeping eye sockets and mouth.
Just keep your eye on the
I wonder why we
prize.
can't find Heinrix or Yrliet. No, Moss, can you help us? Yeah, I think it's just some weird twisted vision. Ah,
The
Heinrix.
tribunal is waiting for your explanations. Come closer.
Tribunal? So interesting that that's like the worst nightmare for us. But I mean, given what the Inquisition can do, makes sense. And here comes our principal witness, the rogue trader himself. Heinrix gives you a cold look. If the presented evidence was not enough to convince you, his testimony will conclude this confusing case, full of oath-breaking, lies, and heresy. Oh no, what have you done? Nothing, I was just nice to the people. You dragged this boy into this trial and now expect someone will lend an ear to a lowly heretic's testimony. I thought better of you, Interrogator Van Kallox. I was so very wrong. Lady Theodora's voice sounds even harsher and angrier than you remember. It would have been so nice to have, at least at one point of the game, a little bit of voice for Theodora, just to set, like, the vibe. But I would imagine like a deep female voice, very commanding and not very respectful. The Lord Inquisitor makes a vaguely dismissive gesture. Enough. Let him speak. The sooner this business is concluded, the better. And then let us continue. Shielded by the powers of the Warrant of Trade granted by the Imperium, Theodora von Valancius more than once allowed herself to openly collaborate with Xenos. You've never seen such a contemptuous grimace on the interrogator's face. She plunged the entire protectorate into apostasy and heresy, including the current rogue trader, and went out of her way to prevent the Inquisition and me personally from maintaining order inside the Expanse. Does the rogue trader admit to fraternizing the Xenos, serving them as a puppet, and rejecting the God Emperor's blessed life for the sake of his heretical desires and base profit? Decision consequences. You served the Xenos. You rejected his light. You reveled in your heretical desires and craved base profit. We didn't. We were nice. Nice to the people? This is 40k, you never be nice to the people. I have the warrant to trade, I do what I want, even such heretical things as being nice to the people. Currently there's been a lot of added voice dialogue with the new updates, so we'll see if we get more voice stuff. Oh, that would be really cool. I like Ethan's playthrough, he plays it like someone who doesn't know the universe, so he's pretty naive with some of his choices. Hey! But, I mean, basically, I do not know too much of the universe, so... yeah, what can go wrong? The Xenos is gone. Why is the Lord Inquisitor here? And Theodora's reanimated corpse too. Didn't she die? Everything is wrong here. Died, you say? But who are you talking to if I did? Get one simple truth into your empty head. Your role in these events is negligible. You shall think me the Emperor on the Golden Throne if I so choose, and think me dead if it strikes my fancy, but this is not what matters right now. Just look in your direction makes me sick. Why must I speak to the filth? And the last words obviously meant for the court, not you. Decision consequences. Theodora von Valancius is alive. You were her loyal servant, and she made you serve the Xenos. Ooh. Interesting. But yeah, of course it's just a vision. Either by the... probably just by the tadpole, right? Heinrix bends over you with a crooked smile. Rogue trader, are you alright? Or was your heretical association with Xenos so disruptive that you lost your mind? The mocking words do little to hide his irritation. The interrogator is obviously displeased with the turn the conversation is taking. The Inquisitor leans forward slightly at the sight of your anguish. For a brief moment, the boredom in his eyes is gone. It was amusing, but the joke has outstayed welcome. Theodora shouts the interrogator in nasty looks. It is painful obvious this heretic is dancing to your tune. His words against mine? You had lost before you even unsheathed your blade, Heinrix. I didn't get this scene in my playthrough. You didn't, Alistair? Interest, not at all? Is it cause you played more dogmatic? Did you get a different scene? Huh. Or is it due to the romance? You need not worry, dear Lord Captain. It was not my intention to bring up unsupported claims. Heinrix produces a data slate and skillfully manipulates the device until he locates the necessary information. This is such a crazy and messed up situation. Also with them accusing us of being heretical, with Theodora right there, like, anyway. The rogue trader uncovered the crimes of the Aeldari on the most important agri-world of the Von Valencia's protectorate, which feeds many Imperium colonies in the Expanse. But instead of purging the planet of the Xenos menace, he allowed the Inhumans to take refuge in the shadow of his power. They are corrupting Eugenis society even as we speak. And who knows, perhaps another rebellion will not be long in coming. The rogue trader's ties to the Drukhari, a different subspecies of Aeldari, are just so obvious. Who else could help him divine the carefully prepared plans of the Drukhari, if not other Drukhari? Edward von Valencia has always ended up in the location of the next Drukhari raid, knowing for certain where they were going to strike. Which makes me think... I mean, we always were just in the correct place cause of Scalender, right? Is he just our enemy? Is he a spy for the Drukhari? Someone disguised? Or just a heretic? I don't know. Of course, I mean, there's no other reason. We were always in the correct position. We always just got informed about where they're going to strike next. And I mean, if you remember, it was really odd that he could die, like Scalender could die during the battle and still survive. So it's someone who has to survive due to story reasons. Maybe it was his doing as well. And we have to submit to the illusion, unfortunately. I played Hybrid, I had the scene too. I think so, it might be your romance with Heinrix, but I honestly can't remember what I got instead. I just remember being brought straight to the Drukhari. Interesting. I mean, who did you romance, Toril? Probably not Heinrix, or? Right? Yes, I did cooperate with Xenos. This I will not deny. I mean, we literally worked together with Yrliet, right? Cooperation is a double-edged sword. Sometimes you use your partner, and sometimes your partner uses you. Which is what happened to the rogue trader. Lady Theodora used him to undermine the standing of the Imperium in the Expanse. And then again, why is Theodora so important? Why is she used by the Chaos so many times? Because she was so heretical and did so much Chaos stuff? Because I mean, why else would she be so important to us? We didn't really talk with her more than like 5 sentences, I think. Oh, I didn't have to submit to the illusion. I broke it. It pissed off Marazhai. I think it might be due to the decisions. I think the Xenos, our actions on Xenos made us actually having to submit. The tribunal remained silent, although those present cast anxious glances at your predecessor. At this point, the tribunal probably wants to know what the true intentions of the Von Valencia's dynasty are. The rogue trader claims he has been waging war against the Drukhari this entire time. Except, was there really a war? Or was it another carefully staged performance? Heinrix is looking at you closely, almost without blinking. Allow me to explain what happened. Edward von Valencia has personally invited the Drukhari to his worlds, and then used their strength and resources to sow chaos in the Expanse to gain leverage over his rivals. It is very convenient to play the victim while working with those who rob your neighbors blind and terrify the worlds that pay you tribute. How much did you profit from this, rogue trader? Did you think I would not uncover your pathetic conspiracy? You served the Drukhari. You did their bidding. They helped you survive. Without your Drukhari masters, you would be dead. I wish it was like this. Enough of this circus, Heinrix. I did not set up any attacks. You know that. Willpower -10, come on. Ha, nice. Rogue trader. Heinrix addresses you through clenched teeth. You are destroying your only chance to make yourself useful to the Inquisition and to me personally. Do not tempt fate, and do not resist the examination. This is not an examination, this is a guild tribunal. And a really messed up one at that. Are you really saying your war with the Drukhari was not a hoax? Then how did you and your foolish subjects know the coordinates of the enemy ships every time? How did you know their targets? Do you think you, expert on all things, Xenos was shrewd enough to divine the carefully devised plan of the Cabal's finest? No. Only other Drukhari could do that. And even then, only a few. This means you were in collusion with them. Bald-headed stubbornness does not benefit a man of your pedigree, rogue trader. But since you had decided to deny everything, I will summon another witness. I'm sure everyone will find it interesting to explore the sordid story from another angle. I wonder who he's bringing in. But it seems just so absurd that I'm like, is this supposed to break us? Aha, Yrliet, of course. Yrliet silently takes a graceful step forward. If the cause so desires, my speech will run like a river and wash away your doubts. I found a shard of my home in the rogue trader's chambers. An entire craft world vanished among the stars, the only clue to its fate resting in the hands of the monkey. That was when I began to suspect that he had something to do with the misfortune that had befallen my Krudurak. Do not be deceived by his breed. There's a cunning predator lurking behind the fluttering of fragile butterfly wings. The monkey before you is a bizarre amalgamation of qualities not usually inherent in this feeble species. He has mastered the mysteries of many of this world's cultures, the secrets of the universe and ancient artifacts, the fine art of war, the intricacies of deceit. All are embodied in a single monkey, however hard it might be to believe. Which really makes me wonder, what would have happened if we didn't take Yrliet along? Like, just disagreed her joining us, handed her over to the Inquisition, whatever, there were multiple chances to get rid of her. How would that transition to Act 3 go without her? Is there just another one betraying you? Is it Scalander? However, the thread that bound our path broke the moment I realized the monkey's involvement in the disappearance of my home. To flee the rogue trader, I tracked down and eliminated his chief tracker who has pursued our kin this part of the galaxy for many years, and thus earned clemency before this court. At least that seems to be actually pretty fitting. I really think that's what happened for her. So, Achilles did not simply vanish, you helped him disappear. Heinrix nods coldly. I say it only himself to blame. An agent who cannot recognize an impending threat is useless. And, of course, we don't have any other options. Edward decides to remain silent. Heinrix nods with satisfaction, noticing your reaction, or rather, the lack of it. The court has been presented with enough evidence, and I hope no one is harboring any doubts as to the guilt of the Von Valensis dynasty. But let us allow the rogue trader to say his final word. We are all curious to know what you have gleaned from this inquiry. I am still struggling to make sense of what is going on here. You do not need to understand, monkey. What a normal word for Heinrix to use. You have done what was required of you. Now, muster your strength. You still have a fun. Enough. Back to the real world. Yay, torture. And lots of Drukhari. Yeah. After the spell is lifted, staggering pain pierces your body. Darkness clouds your vision, and nausea creeps up your throat, but the wounds you manage to forget soon remind you that you are still alive. But at what cost? I don't know if you really want to be alive around here. Oh boy. Hey Mother-chan, nice to see you. How are you? It sounds really cool. Nice, congrats. Archon Nasraki. If I remember correctly, the Archons are just like leading clans or whatever it's called. The weakness of your subjects is an insult to the Council of Archons and the Supreme Overlord of Komorra himself, Eremiris. The commanding, inhuman voice tears you from the vice of agony, and you see an unknown Drukhari in the center of the chamber, whose presence alone causes your insides to clench. Instead of fighting and ripping what they are owed from Destiny's hands by force, they dare to crawl into the Dark Palace, begging for favors. Yeah, I guess fighting is not an option. An Archon is the leader of the Drukhari Cabal. The organization that serves at the heart of the standard Drukhari raiding force, as well as the primary political unit within the Dark City. The Archons of the Drukhari Cabals are the true lords of Komorra. So you're important. And Edward looks at the Drukhari upon the throne. One half of his face is hidden behind a golden mask with an intimidating visage, and the other half is showing a malicious sharp-toothed leer. The Xenos' elaborate armor is decorated with skulls and patches of human skin impaled on countless blades and hooks. He carries himself with authority and ease, as though he's a ruler who holds the threads of fate of all those present tightly in his grasp. Charming. I like it when evil people go all out on their fashion choices. But yeah, human skin... 50% chance to succeed. Though I don't... Isn't it minus 60? Anyway, Edward looks at the female Drukhari. The Xenos is wearing armor encrusted with jewels and stands calmly next to the speaker. Such behavior is typical of the Xenos occupying the higher tiers of the Drukhari hierarchy, which means you're facing one of the Archons. And Edward looks at Marazhai. Interesting. Of course he's also here. The smug grin has fled Marazhai's face. He clutches the hilt of his blade and casts a vicious look at the female Drukhari in sumptuous armor. And Yrliet is here as well. And she doesn't look like a prisoner, right? I mean... No. She seems to be here freely. Why the heck? What the heck, Yrliet? Let's look at her. Yrliet absorbs every word, occasionally wincing in pain and covering her weeping wounds. Okay. Maybe she was tortured too. Her posture and gesture are full of tension. Like prey cornered by a pack of predators, Yrliet shrinks under the hungry stares of those around her. Let's listen to the conversation. With the greatest respect, mighty Nasraki, Archon of the Cabal of the Black Hearts, first among the chosen, voice of the Overlord of the Dark City, bringer of demise, conqueror of 100 worlds. Nasraki dismisses Marazhai like a bothersome flyer. The Council of Archons has heard enough platitudes. Dragon Marazhai no longer wishes to... Sly intrigues ruthless chill to jagged eyes, turns lips and tongues. Very odd way of speaking. Ooh, but I like the artwork. It's like a little bit like a jester with the mask and the rhomboid pattern on the forearms. Yeah, the Drukhari prefer to corrupt their cousins than kill them. In general, they don't seem to be about quick deaths. Of Betrayal verbose, the cut and frost give time of fate's own machinations grave, but whose deft footwork leads to naught but dust, where from its brutal finish none can save. This play the puppet master granted me, through murky stalls, a path obligingly. I don't understand a word. It sounds like just reciting a play or something. I don't really know what they are trying to say. The great puppet master has Vex himself invited you to this chamber. The Archon chokes on his own words, but quickly regains his composure. No matter. You may be our guest, Arabanian, but you are merely a spectator in this performance. And spectators do not belong on the stage, as you undoubtedly know. Do not interfere. The stranger presses a delicate finger to the lips of a sorrowful mask and says, with a twinkle in his eye, "A shadow in the shadow will I be." What? I'm very curious. I want to know everything about you, but I can't ask you, I guess. And Edward looks at the Aeldari who interrupted the trial. The bright motley, the hollow suit, the mask hiding its owner's face, and the graceful, supple movements. Before you stands a Harlequin, another representative of the multifaceted Aeldari race. The Xenos catches your eye and nods. For a moment, the play of shadows on the mask appears to twist its expression into a mischievous grin. Interesting. So, what do they do? What's their path? Being all weird? And Edward tries to recall what he knows about the Vect. You've heard many gruesome tales about the atrocities of the Drukhari, but the cruelest and vilest always involved Asdrubal Vect, the Archon of the Cabal of the Black Heart, the supreme overlord of Gomorrah, and the most dangerous of all his dark kinds. All theatres are theatres of war. War must be theatrical. Farcia Rofus of Craftful Alfie, describing Harlequin's performance. So they're still Drukhari and still evil and into war and torture, but for them it's all a game, all a play? How charming. Damn Xenos, I will burn all of you in this den of heresy, in the God Emperor's name. I think that's pretty big words for someone in the middle of a cage, but hey, that's Edward for you. The words almost fly from your lips when a sharp pain seizes your head in a vice-like grip. Blood and nausea roil inside your throat, and the world starts swaying before your eyes. It looks like the creature Marazhai shoved into your head is still suppressing your will with all its might, but you can already feel its approaching demise. Oh, it's dying? I'm not really sure if that's good for us or bad, if the tadpole, whatever it is dying in our head. I mean, I guess damage already done, right? No, the Harlequins are supporters of both sides. They only care about fighting Slaanesh and keeping a sort of balance. So like, chaotic neutral? Kinda like the trickster in Wrath of the Righteous? We still have our brainworm? Of course we do. Unfortunately. The Archon addresses the female Drukhari standing beside him. His eyes alight with mockery. Not directed at her, however, for he is still looking at Marazhai. How does the Archon intend to pay for Cabal's blatant disrespects? I'm awaiting for your reply, Aramis, and my patience is growing thinner with each breath you take. Harlequins are not Drukhari as far as I remember. It just, from the vibe and the presentation, they or this one in particular seems kind of Drukhari-like, but yeah, I guess not. Marazhai's eyes widen, filled with astonishment and disbelief. He seems to have been certain of the outcome and did not expect what he's hearing now. His lip twists in an enraged snarl, hatred directed at the Xenos on the throne, and yet it finds no outlet under the gazes of the dozens of Drukhari in the chamber. I wonder why they're not happy with Marazhai. I humbly bow before the Council of Archons and apologize for this outburst on behalf of the Cabal. Allow me to prove my respect to you with a humble gift. Emrys points at you with a clawed finger and flashes a satisfied grin. The Draken of the Cabal, of the Raving Tempest himself, and his amusing monkey plaything with their entourage of hapless freaks will enter your arenas and fight the best warriors for the crowd's amusement. Ugh. A harlequin, known in the Aeldari lexicon as a Yrliet, as a member of a very distinct subgroup of the Aeldari species who belongs to none of the existing Aeldari factions, including the Asoyani of Craftworlds, the Exodites, or the Drukhari of Gomorrah. They are the keepers of the Black Library and serve the enigmatic Aeldari deity called the Laughing God. Yeah, they sound all the way like the tricksters. Interesting. Looking forward to getting to know and find out more about them. Marazhai's face contorts in despair. His gaze shifts from the Archon to you, then to Irmeres and back, but he does not dare to utter an objection. Yeah, well, Marazhai, seems like we're sitting in the same boat, and I think that will be the way how to recruit him. I mean, we can say Marazhai was a worthy opponent, let him go to the arena himself. I mean, it sounds like not the best place, right? I think that sounds like a fate which is pretty horrible, and he's pretty deserving of that. Marazhai was a worthy opponent. Let him go to the arena himself, right? Silence, monkey. You can choke on your pity. I've no need of it. It wasn't pity. The monkey has chosen your fate, Marazhai. Let this be a lesson to you. Lay down your weapon, follow the guards, and may the pity of a lesser being serve as a mark of disgrace far worse than the wrath of the Archons. Go. Archons nods in satisfaction and makes an unfamiliar gesture. The guards draw closer to you. Let us return to you, Irmeres. The Harlequin's laughter interrupts the Archon and echoes under the walls of the chamber in a resounding baritone. And all the masks upon their marks now stand. The slave of vanity, the spire ascends. The thief and traitor cast downward by her hand. Unbeknownst to all, the fate depends upon a lead unseen, a player green. The Harlequin leans forward and eyes you with genuine interest. Meaning the thief and traitor is probably Marazhai. But why is he a traitor and what did he steal? And unbeknownst to all, their face depends upon a lead unseen is probably us? Like our actions here? Is this how you treat the hospitality of Gomorrah, Aberranian? The Archon angrily balls his fist, the shadows of wrath hanging over the Aeldari interloper like a thundercloud. I thought your words were worth more. You insult me by interrupting the trial again. The Xenos sweeps into a theatrical bow without taking his eyes off Nazrakai's face. You, Archon, speak a just rebuke in truth. Fate melodies and snarls fantastic have entrapped me here, and when I heard them play, I could not keep my lips from grinning wide. Here comes the hour of shadows to retreat, to where the curtain waits to rise, and the laugh, with no beginning, now sends forth the call. I'm just confused. Ouch. Off to a great start. Brain parasites, weird visions,